In the golden haze of down over Baghdad, the city boasts with merchants' crees and the scent of spiced dates, but Zahra al-Mir felt only silence. Her father's study remained untouched since his death, a shrine of dust and parchment. She was a scholar, fluent in 5 dead languages, yet never permitted to speak in court where her father once advised sultans. That morning, driven by grief and instinct, Zahra unearthed a false panel in his favorite globe, revealing a brittle scroll sealed in wax, an ancient map inked with forgotten glyphs, tracing a path beyond the known deserts to the legendary nesting grounds of the Rock. The Rock, a creature of fire and ski, myth and terror. But the annotations on the map weren't folklore. They were coordinates, warnings, and a plea for vengeance. As she studied the map, a chill crawled up her spine. Something was wrong. Her father had died suddenly, yes, but what if it wasn't natural? What if the fever that took him was no illness at all? Her suspicions took shape the moment her uncle, al-Mir paid her an unannounced visit. He smiled too easily, asked too specifically about old relics. She remembered the sigil on his ring, a crescent eclipsing the sun, the same symbol scribbled in blood on the back of the map. Later that night, a hidden journal confirmed her worst fear. Her father hadn't died, had been murdered. Poisoned by a rare extract used only by the Brotherhood of the Eclipse, a secretive cult obsessed with controlling ancient forces. A cult led by none other than Khalid himself. Now Zahra knew the truth. Her father died to protect the Rock, and it was her legacy to uncover the truth, before Khalid unleashed a power the world wasn't meant to command. The journey began under the shadow of deception. Zahra, cloaked in her father's worn traveling robes, ventured into the mountain outposts where mercenaries sold blades and secrets alike. That's where she found Darius, a tall, broad-shouldered rogue with amber eyes and a half-smile that promised both danger and protection. He claimed no loyalty, only coin, but there was something in his silence that intrigued her more than his sword. She hired him for his knowledge of the Zagros Mountains, the treacherous path toward the Rock's supposed nest. What she didn't know, what he couldn't yet bring himself to say, was that their meeting was no accident. Darius had been sent by the Brotherhood of the Eclipse, under Khalid's orders, to shadow Zahra, earn her trust, and retrieve the map. But he hadn't expected her to be so brilliant, so fierce, so human. Each night by the campfire, their conversations deepened. He watched her sketch stars and whisper ancient prayers to winds she believed listened. She challenged him, lawed with him, and once, when a wildcat nearly attacked their camp, slept beside him, wrapped in the same blanket for warmth. Feelings bloomed, quiet but undeniable. And with every step, his guilt grew heavier. One night, under a bloodred sunset, she kissed him. Gently, desperately, as if they both sensed that whatever was building between them was destined to fall apart. Because Darius had discovered something else, something darker. A fade pendant he wore since childhood bore the very sigil of the Brotherhood. It matched an engraving in Zahra's father's journal. He wasn't just a spy. He was family. Khalid's long-lost son, taken from his mother during a Brotherhood raid and raised in shadows. Now, love turned dangerous. Because if they were blood, their bond could doom them both. The air thinned as Zahra and Darius ascended the final ridge of the Forgotten Range, a desolate crown of jagged stone veiled in perpetual cloud. Legends had described the Rock's nest as a place of divine wrath, but nothing prepared them for what they saw. A valley carved into the mountain itself, scorched by claw marks the size of bullets, bones of beasts and men fossilized in ash. The silence here wasn't natural. It was sacred. Doomed. At the heart of the hollow stood a lone, petrified tree, its twisted branches wrapped around a stone altar stained with ancient blood. There, Zahra began to feel it. Not fear, but recognition. The symbols etched into the altar matched those in the margins of her father's journal. Glyphs warning of a curse bound by celestial law. The Rock had not vanished. It had been imprisoned. As dusk bled into night, the first sliver of the blood moon rose above the peaks, casting a crimson light across the valley. The wind howled, the ground trembled, and the Rock awoke. It was not a bird, not anymore. Its wings spanned the mountains, but its eyes burned with human sorrow. Scales shimmered like starlight. Bound by divine punishment, it shrieked not in rage, but agony. Zahra collapsed, flowed by visions, memories that were not hers. A young prince, defying the gods to protect a mortal lover. A betrayal. A curse. The rock was her ancestor. Suddenly, the Brotherhood struck. Cloaked in ritual robes, they surrounded the valley. Khalid himself emerged, blade drawn and chanting. The ritual required Zahra's blood to enslave the rock, twisting its power to serve their will forever. But Zahra stood firm, even as the rock wept above her. This wasn't just a legend, it was her bloodline's burden. And the battle for destiny had begun. Blood pooled at Zahra's feet, hot and unfamiliar. She gasped, reaching for the blade lodged just below her ribs. But it wasn't the steel that stunned her. It was the hand that held it. Layla, her childhood friend, her confidant, the girl who once braided her hair beneath fig trees and whispered dreams of escape. Layla's eyes now shimmered with fury and freedom. "I'm sorry," she whispered, though her voice lacked sorrow. "But I was never on your side." As Zahra collapsed, the ritual altar looming behind her, Layla stepped forward to claim her place beside Al-Mir Khalid. "You never saw it, did you?" she sneered. "All your brilliance and still blind. I'm his daughter, not you. I was always meant to inherit the Brotherhood." Khalid watched with pride, eyes gleaming as the blood moon bathed the ritual site in red fire. "With your blood," he said to Zahra, "the rock shall be bound, and our reign will begin." But before Khalid could complete the final chant, a roar echoed through the mountains. Not from the rock, but from Darius, bloodied and defiant, hurling himself between Zahra and the altar. Blades clashed, magic rippled. Khalid struck him down with a whispered curse, but not before Darius drove his dagger deep into Khalid's side. As Darius collapsed beside Zahra, he pressed her hand to his chest, revealing a birthmark Zahra recognized from the journal, a sigil of the ancient sorcerer. He was Khalid's son, the heir to the bloodline that cursed the rock. "I was meant to destroy you," Darius whispered, voice fading, "but I loved you instead." Tears blurred Zahra's vision. Khalid screamed as his wound refused to close. The prophecy had changed, because now the rock's curse could be broken, not with Zahra's blood, but with his. The Brotherhood lay broken, their chants silenced by fire and steel. Khalid's body, still breathing but cursed, writhed beneath the rock's shadow as the blood moon reached its zenith. Layla had vanished into the mountains, wounded and vowing revenge. Zahra stood alone before the rock, the valley scorched with divine fury. Its wings shimmered like thunderclouds, eyes vast and ancient, and now unmistakably human. Her blood called to it, but it was Darius who hovered between life and death, his body still and pale in her arms. And then, the rock spoke. Its voice was wind and flame and sorrow. "You broke the chain," it said, "but the final link remains." It gazed upon Darius. "The soul that defied fate has bound itself to mine. In freeing me, you may also free him." Zahra's breath caught. The rock offered two paths. Unleash him, let the rock fly once more, to burn the corrupt and cleanse the world in divine judgment. In doing so, it would release Darius's soul, allowing him to live again. Seal him away, trap the rock within the mountain forever, sparing innocents who would perish in the purge, but condemning Darius to remain within the rock's spirit, lost to her. Tears spilled down Zahra's face. The valley pulsed with power. Visions of burning cities and reborn empires swirled around her. She closed her eyes. Her lips trembled. "I choose,"